So what's my coach been up to? Oh yeah, he was doing the prison to perping nodcast, working on that. Oh yeah, what was he talking about this time? He's talking about treading water. He's saying he's encouraging people to stop treading water. Really? Well, if you stop treading water, if you're in a big body of water, anything more than about 5 feet depth, if you're in anything more than 5 feet, whether you're in a swimming pool or not, as far as I know, if you stop treading water, you sink, don't you? You said some people are more buoyant than others. Some people they have that buoyancy. But I thought treading water was a good thing. Oh yeah, he's talking about in life. If you've been treading water, at some point you need to start stroking. You need to start stroking in order to make some progress. Really, that sounds good on the surface. That definitely sounds good. Now, is he serving? Is he serving as an example of that? Oh yeah. Well, from what I understand, with him putting his ministry on pause for the past few years, he's been treading water. Yes. If your ministry is on pause, but yet you're still accepting donations and offerings and tithes, then that would imply that you're treading water. Okay, you're not making any progress. You're not stroking. Your ministry is not progressing. But he's encouraging other folks not to just tread water. Really, don't follow his motto. Do as he says. Don't do as he does or as he has done for the past few years. Really. Okay, that's interesting. Now he talked about the tide, and when the tide is coming towards you, he talked about swimming against the tide. Don't just tread water, swim against the tide. Really? What type of advice is that? I thought that if you try to swim against the tide, it would just simply take you under. You would be getting further and further away from shore. Really, I thought you were supposed to swim along the tide. But he's advocating, he's recommending, he's suggesting that you guys actually try to swim against the tide. Okay, all right. In theory, it sounds good, but in actuality, that's going to take you under. Okay, you're going to be down swimming with the other fish. Yes, but okay. All right. Has he been up to anything else? Nothing else, really. All right. Okay. Well, before I get into my reaction to the recent IAG Farms video where Tim talks about saying goodbye to his best friend. And I'm like, okay, now he definitely got me clickbaited on this one because I thought that Tim had no friends. And I mean, no real friends. I thought that his only friends were Megan, Titus, Noah, Timothy Jr., and sometimes Grandma Lily. I thought those were his only friends. But he's talking about saying goodbye to his best friend. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm very curious, very, very curious to see who that best friend is. And early in the video, he's walking toward the shed shack that he calls Ernest. And I'm like, well, maybe he's going to say goodbye to Ernest. Come to find out, he's talking about saying goodbye to his lawnmower. Really? Is that really what he's talking about? Okay, all right. Well, before I get to my reaction to that recent video, I do want to recognize you guys that have been active in the comments. Keep that commentary flowing. Keep that dialogue going both ways. I do have to recognize you steady Tim supporters that have been in the comments. I hear what you guys have been saying. I hear you guys saying, Captain, some captain you are. Captain, if Megan wants to pick up the camera, or if she's forced to pick up the camera to do that prison to perping nodcast, if she's forced to, then so be it. Everybody should do their part, okay? You guys thought that Megan was going to be off duty, resting up for her impending hernia surgery. You guys thought she was going to be off duty. That was your fault for making that assumption, okay? And so therefore, if our pastor Tim is busy, okay, if he decides to send Megan out to grab that camera and start in on one of those nodcasts of her own, then so be it. If Megan decides, or she's directed to try to mimic her husband, if she's directed to try to mimic Tim and talk about P2P podcast, here we go. If she's directed to mirror his images, his likenesses, if she's directed to mimic and duplicate his mannerisms, then so be it. And so as such, if Tim wants to use the ha, the non-biblical ha, the non-motivational ha, the non-inspirational ha, if Megan chooses to do that of her own free will, then so be it, Captain. Then so be it. I'm like, okay, all right. All right. If it's of her own free will, then so be it. Now, you guys be wilding in the comments. You guys be wilding. But as long as you guys are wilding, I'm going to keep on digressing. Welcome back to the end game, where today I'm going to review that recent IAG Farms video where Tim talks about saying goodbye to his best friend. And I'm like, hold on now. You haven't had a good friend or a true friend in years. Has it been a decade? Okay. You probably haven't had a good friend since you were in the cell block. Okay. But I'm going to give my reaction to that video here. Early in the video, my coach, Tim, he talks about getting ready to say goodbye to this friend. And like I said, he's walking toward Ernest. And I'm like, okay, well, are we about to set Ernest ablaze? Are we about to grab some sledgehammers, or as you call them, sludge hammers? Are we going to grab some sludge hammers and start to tear down Ernest before it's too late? Okay. And so at first I thought, well, he's about to say goodbye to Ernest and stop calling it a barn and refer to it more appropriately as being either a porch or a shack of some sort, or an outhouse, a bona fide outhouse. But he walks past Ernest, he walks underneath Ernest, and of course he's headed toward what he calls putt-putt. Now, we remember that my coach has to give a name to everything. But so for some reason, this mechanical device, this machinery, this piece of equipment is called putt-putt. But he talks about how they had some good times and some bad times together. And I'm like, okay, by my estimation, that lawnmower, that riding mower is only about 4 years old. And so I'm not sure what bad times we would be referring to. Are we talking about the times where you neglected it? About the times where you ran out of gas by your own doing? The times where you avoided putting in a new battery, or you avoided jump starting the battery, what have you? The times where you let it just sit out there in the weather, in the elements, are those the bad times that we're referring to? But he talks about going through some good and some bad times with his lawnmower. And we're like, okay, coach, go ahead. We're listening, coach. We're listening.
What's going on, y'all? Good morning. It's IAG Farms. It's all about God. And it's going to be an amazing day on the farm today. And but as far as this video, it's a sad but also a fulfilling day on the farm, because we're retiring something that's been around our family for a long time, and it's finally time for us to say farewell to this thing, and say farewell, and send it on to a better home, to a place where it can be fruitful. And it's just amazing that this thing can still be fruitful after so much time. And we had some fun times and, some bad times with this thing. But I'm about to turn y'all around and show y'all what we're saying goodbye to today and what we're retiring. All right, y'all.
Tim starts in on talking about putt-putt, the riding mower. And he talks about how this is going to be Putt-Putt's last day on IAG Farms. Curiously enough, he does not imply that he's actually giving the mower free of charge to Grandma Lily. And in the previous video, they indicated that they were going to loan it. They were going to loan it to Grandma Lily. And we know that Tim has that zero turn on the way. And I'm like, well, if you have the zero turn coming, and if you're truly in the business, if you're truly of the mindset of blessing Grandma Lily in her retirement, and considering that she's had difficulties with her mower, would it not be a true blessing if you actually gave it to Grandma Lily, for her to have it, for her to own it, and not just loaning it to her for her to use it on the Resurrection Ranch, not just loaning it to her for her to fulfill her land steward position, not loaning it or allowing her to use it just to fulfill her duties as being employee number one out there at the Resurrection Ranch. What if you actually blessed her with this raggedy old lawnmower. Now I call it raggedy, but those lawnmowers, they last for years or decades actually. The only reason why this particular mower, this putt-putt, looks raggedy is because it's been neglected, Tim. Clearly it's been neglected. You've left it out there in the rain, in the wind. You've left it out there in the dirt, in the dust. You left it out there with the raccoons, with the possum, with the squirrel, with the mice, etc. And so it's been out there in the elements. It's been neglected. And so that's why it's looking raggedy. That's why it's looking worn down, Tim. If only you had taken better care of it. Okay, that little riding mower is ample. It's ample mower to mow that little bit of raggedy grass that you have. It's plenty of mower for that. It's probably not going to be as much fun as that zero turn will be. But when does fun take precedent over being frugal? You talk about having this supposed debt-free journey. Certainly you're not encouraging your heavy followers to approach or to fulfill any or pursue any debt freedom by spending frivolously. Okay. And now, if you did in fact buy this soon coming zero turn, if it's not a fully sponsored vehicle, if you truly spent that money on that zero turn and not on other priorities in and around the farm, then holy moly, coach, holy moly.
We're retiring. Putt has seen his last mowing on IAG Farms, but it's going to a better place, and it's going down to Resurrection Ranch because grandma, her what I call putt, she don't call it a putt. She say it's called a Craftsman. I call it a putt. Any lawnmower with a steering wheel, I call it putt for real, because now they have the newer, zero turns that may fit, in this little section right here under our barn, but we'll see. But yeah, so putt is going to a better place today. And like I say, grandma, she still has her lawnmower down on the ranch, but it's been giving her some problems. And putt is still running, still fired up. I'd be surprised if he fires up. The battery's probably dead. Yeah, the battery's dead. I'm gonna go get a jump box and jump it off. And all we have to do, well, all she has to do at least, I meant to get a new battery from Tractor Supply when I was there the other day, but I forgot. And so this battery is probably, let's see if we can find a date on this thing. Yeah, let me know if y'all see a date on here. It's probably so old, you probably can't even see the date anymore. But it might be on the side actually, so we might have to get it out and look at it. But this battery is pretty old. I think I may have replaced this battery one time since I've owned this mower. And we owned this mower at least about, 5, 6, 7, something like that years. And it's never given us any problems. I always had problems out of this cutting deck. And I had to rig up on it here or there because it doesn't have anti-scalping wheels and all that type of stuff. It probably need a little bit of WD-40 on the steering components because it's kind of tight, when you're steering. But it crank up for real. And it let's see, let's check the oil, see what the oil looks like.
Tim talks about how when they were in the city, they had a push mower, and they decided they were going to upgrade. He said him and Megan or we decided, and of course we know by we you mean that you decided, Coach. Tim decided that he didn't have time to use a push mower in order to cut the grass on Megan's property or to cut the grass on, I guess they purchased a vacant lot or what have you. But he didn't have the time because he was so busy. And of course the question is always, so busy doing what? Okay, just articulate it, Coach. Okay, we understand that using that push mower is too much right. We do understand that pushing the push mower is a little bit too much exercise for some folk. Okay, we understand that, Coach. But you guys made the decision to upgrade to getting this riding mower. By your estimation, that was about 7 years ago. And this mower clearly has gone neglected for the past few years. And so considering that you probably had 4 years where you cared for it, maybe you cared for it, maybe you maintained it for 4 years, that mower could easily have another dozen years worth of usefulness, another 4 years of vitality in it, Coach, if you had not neglected it. But You walk us through all the areas of neglect. We see that it's dust and dirt covered. We see that at least the oil looks pretty good. But of course, the fact that the oil looks good, that reinforces the fact that it's been sparingly used. But of course, the tires are either flat or dry rotted. And of course, the battery is exhausted at this point, Coach. But at least you walk us through the neglect. At least we don't have to speculate on the punishment that mower has had to endure over the past few years. It's definitely going to a better place. Going over to Resurrection Ranch, certainly Grandma Lily will make better use of it. She'll take better care of that mower, and she'll likely get another decade or so out of the mower, Coach.
Let's see. Oh yeah, oil still looking good. As you can see, the oil is not low. Yep, right there where it's supposed to be at. Still clean. You can even see through it. So yeah, we put still in good shape. Let's see how much gas it got in it. Make sure we got enough gas. Oh yeah, I can see it on the side there. You can see it. Yeah. Let's look in there and see what the gas looks like. Oh yeah, still looks pretty good. Don't like got any water or anything in there. But Put has been a beast, y'all. And we actually bought Put when we were in the city, and we were getting ready to marry a couple. And we were just using the push lawnmower at the time, and we bought a lot next to our house, to our ministry house, and that lot was like, you know, a quarter acre or something like that. And then we had the grass around our ministry house to mow, and then we also bought a property probably at the I think it was at the end of the road. Yeah, it was at the end of our road that we lived on, and that had grass to cut. And we were getting ready to marry this couple, and I just didn't have time to like push mow all that grass. And so Megan and I decided to buy our first ride lawnmower. And we bought this one here, and we bought it from Walmart. And I think it might have been like $999 back then. No telling what they are now. They might be $2,000 now. But we bought the cheapest one that they had. You know what I'm saying? And we were like, if it lasts for a year, that's good. And, you know, because
Tim talks about when they bought the riding mower, they were just hoping that it would last just for a year. And I'm like, okay, Coach. Okay, all right. Holy moly. Those things are good for years, decades. And so for you to just hope to get a year off it, that kind of implies that you don't have any experience when it comes to doing that lawn work, doing that forestry type work. We do know that your dad exposed you to it. We do know that at your first opportunity and at your first excuse, you quit that job. Your dad wanted to show you the value of a hard day's work, working out there bush hogging, working out there with the gravel and what have you. And you said, no, this is too much work for me. I got to come up with a better way. But certainly that mower would have been better than it would have had a better livelihood, a better lifespan, of course, more than just 1 year, Coach. Definitely more than just 1 year. You talk about the fact that you guys have too much grass to be cutting around the farm. When in actuality, much of your grass and the terrain of that of that property, much of it still has to be bush hogged. Okay, much of it is still going to have to be cut with the tractor. Okay, if you think you're going to run that zero turn up and down those hills and those valleys into those nooks and those crannies, you're definitely going to wind up wrecking that zero turn. Whether it's a sponsored vehicle, a sponsored piece of equipment, or whether you paid for it, or whether Megan is paying for it, or whether it's being financed. Certainly it's not ideal for the level of bush hogging that you guys are going to have to encounter, Coach. But at least you have an excuse. At least you have an excuse for sitting Megan down and convincing her that we made the decision, or that we need to make the decision. To get a zero turn making, we need to upgrade. Okay, even though this riding mower, this little putt has been fully adequate over the years. Megan, we need to upgrade. If you want me to keep this lawn looking as nice as it does. And Megan's like, what do you mean nice? And what do you mean lawn? We don't have a lawn. We just have grass. But somehow you convince her that we, as in the two of you guys need to upgrade, Coach. So be it.
We just need to mow this grass, and you know, by the time a year is up, we can buy something better. But Put stays strong year after year after year. And like I said, all I had to do was just change the oil, get a new tire here or there. Like I said, and he just stayed strong and then never like failed us. You know, Put has been strong, has been fruitful for our family, but it's time for us to say goodbye to Put. Like I said, we have a little bit too much grass around here, and the terrain on this property is a little bit too, you know, treacherous for Put. And but he did well last year and the year before that, mowing the grass around here. So we're gonna move on and try to upgrade a little bit this year as far as what we mow grass with. That'll be coming soon on another video. Y'all already know what it is, but we're just building it up and hyping it up for real. And
Tim talks about how when they were in the city, when they had the ministry base, aka Megan's house, how they had shelter for the putt mower, and it was sheltered and it was cared for. Okay. But he talks about how since it's been out here at the farm, it's been neglected, it's been unsheltered, and it's been pummeled by the elements. And of course, we understand, Coach, we understand what type of picture you're trying to paint for Megan. If you could convince Megan, if you could leave it out there for Megan as a constant reminder of it being some type of decrepit piece of equipment, if Megan could have a constant reminder and see it being all dusty and rusty, if she could see the flat tires and see it going unused, see it covered with hay, etc., along the way, it would be easy for you to convince Megan that it was time to upgrade to the zero turn. Okay, mission accomplished in that regard, Coach. Mission accomplished. But now you talk about that the fact that you weren't going to get the zero turn until you had a place to park it underneath a shelter, so it would be protected from the elements. And now that you've cleared out the hay, the flea-ridden hay from under the shed shack, now you have space. You have plenty of space. You have a nice parking spot for the zero turn. But I thought that you told your Heavy Tim followers that space was going to be used for the chicken processing equipment. Okay, I thought it was going to be used for the processing equipment, the processing apparatus. Come to find out, that space was simply cleared out for the zero turn. Come on, Coach. Okay, so you're pulling the wool over your followers' eyes, just like you're pulling the wool over Megan's eyes. Come on, Coach. We should be able to expect better from you, Coach. And then, oh, by the way, didn't you convince Megan that shed shack area, that barn site, could be used as a perfect relaxation and chill spot for you, Megan, and the boys? Okay? What kind of chill spot has a zero turn parked in it? What kind of chill spot is it going to be when that zero turn is taking up half the space? Okay? With that cut grass and other debris, not to mention with the hay and the fleas, etc. What kind of chill spot is it going to be? Is that chill spot, is that over with? Was that just pie in the sky? Was that just a nice thought to convince Megan to go in and do that third or fourth pruning, that third or fourth clean out of the shed shack? Okay? What was that about, Coach? But at least now you're clear. I guess Megan, at this point, Megan is committed to that zero turn. Okay? So now you can actually let the truth flow freely. It's a parking spot. It's not a processing spot. It's definitely not a chill spot, Megan. It's simply a parking spot for my zero turn, Megan. Excuse me, for our zero turn, Megan.
Y'all already know the thing that we're gonna get to replace Put is gonna fit under here. And I told y'all that I didn't want to upgrade my lawnmower until I had a nice, let me walk out here, until I had a nice like shelter covered for it, so we won't have to have our equipment out in the rain. I don't want to buy any more equipment that I got to sit out in the rain. Like I said, a tractor, it's kind of like, you know, you can go back and forth about on if you need to put a tractor under an equipment shed or not. Like I say, tractors are built tough. They're made to, like, you know, go through stuff like this. Like I said, but when you have little lawnmowers and things like that, you know, water can get into the engine and all those type of things, and you can mess something up. But Put has when we had Put at our ministry base, when we were in the city, we had a storage shed that we kept put in. But since we've been down here, we hadn't had a place to keep him at, out of the rain. So we just kept put out in the rain. So he's been out in the rain, 2 or 3 years, something like that. And but still hadn't missed a beat. So
Tim reiterates that Grandma Lily has had some problems with her fuel or her carburetor. And considering how expensive riding mowers are, obviously carburetor repair, even carburetor replacement would be minor issues when it comes to actually getting her own mower up and running. It's a Craftsman. Generally speaking, those Craftsmen are reliable vehicles, and so I'm a little bit curious as to why Grandma Lily has a mower that's only a year old, which means she's got another 20 years. Okay, she has between a dozen and 20 years more of usefulness left in that mower. And so I'm kind of wondering, well, why are you pushing putt-putt on her? Did Megan give you an ultimatum? Did she give you a condition for that zero turn such that you could not get it unless you got rid of putt-putt? And then somehow you convinced Megan that, okay, Grandma Lily needs a mower. Okay? Oh, sure, her mower only needs a tune-up. It simply needs a tune-up. Okay? But she'd be better off with a new mower. Okay? Rather than fix or tune up that 1-year-old mower, she'd be better off with our 7 or 8-year-old mower. And then she can have 2 mowers and she can go back and forth between the 2 mowers. If that doesn't sound loony to you, Megan. But good gracious.
But I'm gonna go ahead because I need to get the battery jumper, the jump box to jump put off, and then I also need to air up this tire over here and see if there's anything else that I want to do, because Grandma's gonna be on the way today with her trailer from the Resurrection Ranch to get it and pick them up, and she's gonna take it down there. And like I said, she's been having some problems out of her mower, her ride lawnmower, and she just bought it last year. She didn't even make it through a whole cutting season with that lawnmower, and it's giving her problems, some with the fuel or some with the carburetor or something like that. She can't even get it crunked. So I'm gonna give her a put and let her, use it to mow her grass with, and hopefully she can get a couple years of good use out of it, but without it going down.
Tim reminds you, heavy Tim followers, that the IAG and the Resurrection Ranch, but the IAG is heavily scripted. It's a reminder to you guys, even though a couple of videos ago, Megan said, hey, you can't make this stuff up, right? Megan said, we just pick up the camera and we start filming. But Tim being who he is, being the entertainer that he is, he reminds you guys that it's highly scripted, as he does a first, second, or third take on him giving the status of putt-putt and him trying to get putt-putt cranked up, or he says crunked up, trying to get putt-putt crunked up, cranked up. Trying to get putt-putt cranked up and ready to go. He does a few takes for you guys until he feels like he's gotten the lines correct. Megan, just pick up the camera and start filming. Hey, Megan. Hey.
Time to go. All right, y'all, I got all the tires aired up good. And now I think it's time for the icing on top of the cake now. Let's see if Old Faithful. Not Old Faithful. All right, y'all, I got the first step out of the way. Got all the tires aired up good for Grandma so she won't have to do it once she gets down there. Like I said, I think these tires are just down because of the cold weather. I have to ask her, and if they keep going flat, I'll come over and plug them for her so she won't have to put air in them every time she mows the grass. Because when you get ready to mow the grass, you want to just go and hop on the mower and go. You don't have to air up tires and do this and do that. But I think now that I got all the tires aired up, I'm ready to hook the battery charger up, and or the jump box at least, and see if put a crank up. put had never let me down so far, so I don't think he's gonna let me down today. So let's get over.
Tim, because the putt-putt does not start up as hoped for, he decides to do a little bit of service, a little bit of maintenance around the battery area, around the battery contacts, and he notices that they have some corrosion, which would be expected considering that it's been sitting out there in the rain and the elements. So he goes about cleaning off the contacts. He reminds you heavy worshipers that he's not as handy as he'd like you to think he is. as he goes about cleaning off the contacts with one of his ends, one of his metal tipped ends, stripping. It's actually like a stripping type of bit. But he's cleaning off only the exposed area of the contacts. If he was truly going to clean the contacts, he would actually disconnect the cables. He would unscrew the cables and truly clean the contacts. Get a good contact. You're trying to get a good contact. So it's not the areas where the cables don't make contact that are a problem. It's the areas where it does make contact. And so, of course, Coach, next time you go about this, remove the cables, clean those contacts thoroughly, then reattach the cables, okay? Then and only then will you have a chance at having a better contact or better contacts, Coach. But you live and you learn. But just don't profess to be an expert while you're still clearly within the learning process, Coach.
All right, y'all, I think these, I'm gonna clean these battery terminals off a little bit and see if I can get a better connection. And I got my battery charger, jump box over there, charging up as well, because I might be low on power. So we'll get this cleaned off and then we're gonna try again and see if put a fire up then.
Now we see Grandma Lily has showed up on the farm. She's brought the trailer with her, and as expected by some of us, but apparently not by you heavy Tim followers, okay? But as expected by some of us, Tim doesn't chip in a bit. I guess Tim figured he's done working for the day when he went about trying to get putt-putt started up, and when he added air to the tires, he was done working for the day. And so Grandma Lily, 70-year-old Grandma Lily, is left to prepare her trailer. She's left to carry the cinder blocks for her ramp. She's left to try to maneuver and jostle the actual ramps, the wooden ramps herself, while Tim is busy with the filming. 70-year-old mama hauling cinder blocks and these heavy pieces of wood that comprise the ramps. That's not light work. But Tim is content to handle the filming. He's content to handle the camera work so that we can see Grandma Lily continue to break her back. Okay, and now I guess if we look at the image and we see Grandma Lily in her fatigues, her full military fatigues, except for the jacket, she's even got on the military boots. And so I guess if we accept that image and if we believe that image, then we believe that she's ready for work. Okay, and then we don't notice or we don't mind so much that she's actually putting in the work because she's dressed for it. Once Grandma Lily does successfully get the mower loaded onto her trailer, Tim, he does admit that the mower is brand new. It is brand new, okay? 5, 6 years old, 7 years old, it's still brand new. He hints to Grandma Lily that all it needs is a good washing. Like, hint, hint, Grandma Lily. He talks about it going over to its new home. Not that Grandma Lily will own the mower, that it will be truly her mower, but it's going to simply be relocated over to the Resurrection Ranch. And oh, by the way, Grandma Lily, I do expect you to clean it up. Grandma Lily, dust it off, wash it up. Grandma Lily, I do expect for you to spend some of your own money getting new tires if it needs that, Grandma Lily. And Grandma Lily, if it needs a new battery, that's coming out of your pocket. Okay, that's coming out of your pocket. It's not coming out of the Resurrection Ranch budget. And if you're not ready to foot the bill for a new battery, Grandma Lily, you better keep that charger You better keep that battery booster on board whenever you go out to cut the grass. Okay. So he talks about that. He talks about it going over to a new home. He talks about, well, Grandma Lily, just make sure that when you shut it off, if you don't have that battery charger with you while you're mowing, and if it shuts off, let's say it shuts off a couple acres away from the property, Grandma Lily, you're gonna have to walk back. Okay, Grandma Lily. And so we're like, well, wouldn't it just be simpler? Wouldn't it just be easier for Grandma Lily to get a new battery? Wouldn't it be easier for her son, her disappointing son of a, to actually purchase a new battery, bless her with a new battery, so it's not a concern anymore? Wouldn't that be easier? Yes, I thought you were all about making Grandma Lily's life, making Grandma Lily's retirement easier. Okay. You even joked about her going between the two mowers, using both the mowers. And I'm like, okay, Tim, now you're getting carried away. But at least you're getting put off of your property. At least you're making space for that zero turn. Okay. At least you met the minimum requirement for Megan to agree to you guys acquiring that new piece of equipment, acquiring that new toy. At least you could get Megan to agree to you guys continuing to hoard even more material assets. Emma in full effect.
See if it crank back up. Nope. It made a noise though. You usually don't even make a noise.
So let you know ain't nothing wrong with that battery.
Nah, it need no battery.
We gonna try it for a minute.
As long as you got a jump box, you jump it off. Just the only thing is, don't turn it off when you 2 acres away mowing grass.
Okay.
Cause you can have a 2 acre walk. Or keep the jump box on there with you, huh?
Hey, I've done that before. I get on the four-wheeler, don't check the gas. I go around trying to get around the property when it's muddy through the road, and it'll cut off right there. I have to walk all the way back.
Yeah. All right, y'all. So Put is on the way to his new home, and hopefully he'll do Grandma good like he did us good. And I know Grandma's gonna have them all cleaned up, looking brand new. Cause like I said, it's nothing wrong with this mower. It just needs to be, washed off, cleaned up, and just used. That's it. It could do for a new tire here or there. But like I said, I don't think those tires were flat. Cause only one of them was like flat. But I don't think it was flat because it got a nail in it or anything like that. I think it was just cold. But like I said, a new battery, a new tire or two, a little bit of soap and water, and it'll be like a brand new mower. So Grandma, you treat Put right. Put treat you right.
I got you. I don't know what happened to my other one. What's going on with it? I'm all I can tell y'all is don't buy a Craftsman.
Well, we bought a non-name brand mower. Near the end of the video, Grandma Lily talks about how the mower, her own mower, was covered under warranty, and I guess so with it only being a year old. But she talked about how even with the warranty, it was not covered for carburetor or fuel related issues. And I'm like, okay, that does make sense. Okay, because as a manufacturer, they cannot be responsible for whatever type of fuel you put into the equipment, whether you're using good fuel or bad fuel or the wrong octane of fuel, whether you let that mower sit out there in the elements, whether you let the fuel gum up, whether you let the carburetor gum up. They don't want to be responsible for that. So of course they don't cover any carburetor or fuel related issues. Okay, those are generally regarded to be owner negligence or owner responsibility. And then Tim is like, well, what other kind of problems would you have with a mower? And I'm like, okay, Tim, there's steering issues. Of course, there's suspension issues, Tim. Of course, you can have some direct motor type issues. You can have some issues with your motor. And then you talk about there only being 2 wires. There's no way you can have an electrical problem because there's only 2 wires. And I'm like, okay, coach. You do have ignition. You have wires from the ignition. Certainly you have wires from the starter, and you have wires from the battery. And so, of course, there's other wires too, depending upon whether you have headlights or not. But certainly there's more than 2 wires, Tim. Coach, we do like the fact that you're willing from time to time to venture outside of your lane. Okay, your lane is filming and editing and posting. That's your lane. Okay, small engine repair is not your lane. Electrical is not your lane, Coach. Okay, and so it would serve you best. It would serve you best, and your woeful Tim worshipers. Okay, those worshipers and those followers that hang on your every word, they follow your little tidbits of advice. They consider you to be a professional and an expert in all areas. Okay, it will behoove you, coach, to stay in your lane, coach. For heaven's sake.
So, like I said, it's just, you know, sometimes you get a good one, sometimes you get a lemon.
Well, I even took it. It was still under warranty. I even took it to the shop. They told me we can't cover it if it's gas related.
Oh, yeah. Like, what else related is it gonna be? It's a lawnmower.
That's why they said it.
That's the only thing that can go wrong with it. Lawnmowers don't really have electrical problems. They ain't got but 2 wires.
Okay.
For real, wire coming from the battery to the starter. That's it.
That's the way they do it.
For real. Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I love my trailer though, y'all.
Oh, good. Where you get that trailer from?
It came from IAG Farms.
Jesus.
And the Lord.
That's right.
Well,
Yeah.
anything that we do around here, where it comes from. So some things are left unsaid. But
Listen, that's just me though, because even on our last video, when the boys were, when Tim Jr., I was like, who taught you how to bag up? He said, Dad. And I said, Jesus. That's just what I do, because I want to be humble. I don't want to take credit for anything, because I don't want to get proud, because I got a lot of greatness, you know, inside of me, and I'm doing a lot of great things, and it's like I feel unstoppable at times. So sometimes I have to make sure that in all of that, like, greatness and me being unstoppable and not being able to be contained by anything, I had to make sure within all of that power, I stay humble. So that.
But all right. That's it. That's it for my reaction to that recent IAG Farms video where Tim talks about saying goodbye to his best, and oh, by the way, his only friend, a piece of equipment. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Chop it up in the comments. Burner Tim, Heavies, I'll meet you guys there. I want to shoot out some love to my current subscribers. Thank you for showing me that love. I appreciate it. For those viewers, those 60% of you viewers out there that have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing so that we can continue to shine that light. Until next time.